Did Ford just pull off the sneakiest EV play of the decade? While everyone's been watching Tesla and BYD go head-to-head in a global price war, Ford quietly inked a deal that could flip the entire game board without building a single new battery from scratch. Now, I know what you're thinking. Another EV headline? But hear me out. This one's different. Because what Ford just did isn't about building faster cars or flashier dashboards. It's about licensing the one thing that's been holding EVs back: battery costs. They teamed up with CATL, the Chinese battery giant that powers half the world's EVs, and instead of importing packs, they're copy-pasting CATL's tech into a brand new US factory. And here's the kicker. This move might make $25,000 electric cars real in America, years before anyone thought possible. But it's also ticking off lawmakers, rattling rivals, and starting a tug-of-war between profit and politics. Stick around, because once you understand what Ford really pulled off here, you might never look at EV pricing the same way again. For years, EVs have promised savings. But when it comes time to buy one, that price tag still hits like a gut punch. And the biggest reason? The battery. On average, the cost to make a lithium-ion pack in the US still hovers around $75 per kilowatt-hour, sometimes more. That might not sound like much, until you realize the average EV battery is 60 to 100 kilowatt-hours. Multiply it out, and you're talking $4,500 to $7,500 in battery costs alone, before you even touch the wheels, seats, or infotainment screen. And unlike gas-powered cars, you can't just shave a few features to bring the price down. The battery is the car. It's the engine, the gas tank, and half the weight. It decides range, power, and most of all, profit. Tesla's 2024 price cuts sent shockwaves through the industry, but legacy automakers like Ford were stuck. Without cheaper batteries, every discount sliced deeper into already thin margins. They needed a way to compete, without bleeding cash. And that's where CATL enters the picture. So, how did Ford plan to slash battery costs without reinventing the wheel? Simple. They borrowed the blueprint. In early 2023, Ford announced a $3.5 billion battery plant in Marshall, Michigan. But here's the twist. Instead of building their own chemistry from scratch, they licensed it from CATL, the world's largest battery manufacturer based in China. Now, this isn't some import-export setup. The plant is fully Ford-owned, built on US soil, staffed by American workers. But the tech, the recipes, the formulas, the process, all from CATL. It's like Ford said, hey, let us cook in our kitchen, but give us your secret sauce. Why does this matter? Because by doing it this way, Ford dodges tariffs, stays eligible for IRA subsidies, and avoids the political mess of directly partnering with a Chinese state-linked company. On paper, at least. The result? Ford gets CATL's cheaper, more stable LFP chemistry, the stuff Tesla uses in its base Model 3s, but built locally. That's a huge move. It keeps costs down, qualifies for federal incentives, and gives Ford a serious leg up in the EV arms race. But as you'll see next, it's what's inside these batteries that really flips the script. So what's so special about these batteries Ford just licensed? They're called LFPs, short for lithium iron phosphate. And while they don't have the flashiest range numbers, they're built like tanks. Compared to traditional NCM nickel cobalt manganese batteries, LFPs are cheaper, safer, and way more durable. First off, no nickel or cobalt means Ford doesn't have to play the global commodity lottery. No price swings, no supply chain drama. Just stable, low-cost materials that are way easier to source. Second, they're tough. LFP cells are less prone to overheating and don't catch fire under stress like NCM cells have been known to do. That makes them perfect for work trucks, delivery fleets, and budget EVs, where safety and longevity matter more than ludicrous mode. But here's where it gets spicy. CATL isn't stopping at basic LFP. Their new Shenxing cell claims 620 miles of range and fast charging to 80% in just 10 minutes. Insane, right? And the rumor is, Ford's licensing deal may give them access to that tech next. So while rivals are stuck tweaking old formulas, Ford now has a clear path to build longer-lasting, cheaper, and faster-charging EVs, all without waiting on some future battery breakthrough. But just as this plan started to heat up, politics came knocking. Here's where this whole thing goes from interesting to, wait, how much money are we talking? Let's do the math. By switching to LFP chemistry, Ford is instantly cutting battery costs by around 20%. That alone could knock $3,000 to $4,000 off the sticker price of a compact EV. But it gets better. Because this plant is in Michigan and not in China, Ford gets access to massive federal incentives under the Inflation Reduction Act. Specifically, the Section 45X tax credit pays $35 per kilowatt-hour for every battery pack produced in the U.S., so long as key minerals and assembly stay domestic. That means if Ford builds a 60 kilowatt-hour battery here, they could claim up to $2,100 back per vehicle, just from the feds. Stack that on top of the LFP savings, you're now looking at nearly $6,000 shaved off per car. And here's where the light bulb really goes off. With that kind of margin room, Ford can finally price an EV like the Escape or Maverick under $30,000 and still turn a profit. Sounds like a win-win, right? Not so fast, because as soon as this deal got traction, the political blowback came hard and fast. The moment Ford's CATL partnership hit the news, DC lit up like a fuse. Why? Because even though the Michigan plant is 100% Ford-owned and staffed by American workers, the tech still traces back to a Chinese company. And not just any company. CATL was added to the U.S. Department of Defense's list of Chinese military-linked firms earlier this year. That label turned the whole deal into a political minefield. House Republicans launched an investigation, and the China Select Committee subpoenaed Ford for internal documents. Their angle? That Ford might be giving China backdoor control over U.S. energy infrastructure. Never mind that CATL isn't building or owning anything directly. It didn't matter. The narrative stuck. Then came the whispers from Detroit. GM allegedly lobbied behind the scenes to kill the deal. Ford's executive chairman Bill Ford even suggested rival automakers were stoking political fire to stall competition. For a minute, it worked. Michigan pulled back part of the plant's funding, local protests flared up, and timelines got murky. But by mid-2025, Ford got the green light again, just with less fanfare, tighter language, and a whole lot more eyes on the project. And here's the thing. Behind the scenes, the gears kept turning. And now we're hearing Ford's cooking up something even bigger. While all eyes were glued to the politics, Ford was busy behind closed doors, laying the groundwork for a budget EV blitz. Insiders say Ford's already shown early sketches of a new low-cost electric crossover or sedan, designed specifically around the Michigan LFP packs. Target price? Under $30,000? Production goal? Around 250,000 units a year. This isn't just a one-off project either. It's reportedly part of a broader internal roadmap to mass-market electrification, not just for city commuters, but for small businesses, delivery fleets, even government contracts. Cheap, durable, fast-charging batteries, that's the golden trifecta. But here's where it gets interesting. The rollout of Ford's long-hyped electric truck, codenamed T3, has quietly slowed down. The reason? According to whispers, Ford is reworking the T3's battery platform to integrate next-gen LFP tech, possibly even CATL's new Shenxing fast charge cells. That would push charge times under 10 minutes and unlock better durability for high-load use. So, while the delay might frustrate fans, it's actually Ford playing the long game, betting on lower costs and better tech, not just rushing to market. And if this works, the rest of the EV world is going to feel it. If Ford actually pulls this off, it won't just rattle Tesla. It could reshape the entire EV landscape. Picture this, a compact Ford EV with 250-plus miles of range, built in America, starting around $25,000. That's thousands below a Model 3 or Chevy Equinox EV, even with tax credits factored in. And because it's using LFP tech, that car could last longer, charge faster, and cost less to maintain than almost anything else in its class. Fleet buyers, first-time EV owners, even rural drivers who've been priced out. This is who Ford's gunning for. Meanwhile, Tesla's edge has always been vertical integration and early access to cheaper cells. But Ford just found a shortcut, outsourcing innovation while localizing production. They're not trying to out-Tesla Tesla. They're playing a different game entirely. And here's the kicker. BYD can't even compete on US soil right now thanks to massive tariffs. But CATL's IP can. So if other automakers follow Ford's model and license Chinese chemistry for local use, Well, we might just see a stampede of $25,000 EVs rolling off American lines by 2026. But that all hinges on one thing: politics not pulling the plug. Ford's deal with CATL might have looked like a quiet supply chain move, but in reality, it's a strategic bombshell. By licensing the world's cheapest, most proven battery tech and building it right here at home, Ford found a way to leapfrog costs, dodge tariffs, and flip the EV pricing war on its head, all without breaking federal rules, at least for now. But here's the tension. The very thing that makes this strategy smart, Chinese battery tech inside American cars, is also what makes it a target. If politics shifts, tax credits vanish, or the pressure from competitors gets too loud, the whole plan could unravel before it even begins. So, will this move launch the next wave of affordable EVs, or will lawmakers slam the brakes? Either way, one thing's clear: the EV future isn't just about speed or style anymore. It's about cost and control.